I'm Alan Spears with Occupy Democrats, and sometimes you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you get a criminal investigation launched against you into trying to find 11,000 votes. Yes, once again, we are talking about the legendary rock and roll artist Mick Jagger, as he took a few jabs at Donald Trump at one of his latest concerts in Atlanta. Jagger has been going after Trump for a number of different times now, but he hasn't set his sights solely on Trump. You're actually going to see that Jagger has taken the opportunity to take a few jabs at the governor of Florida, aka Ron DeSantis. Now, about a week ago, Jagger was actually speaking to the crowd and took the opportunity to take a few jabs at DeSantis. Said that DeSantis was actually up in one of the suites having a date night with Mickey Mouse. This, of course, was Jagger mocking DeSantis for his really childlike feud with Disney. Now, this feud actually stems back all the way to 2022 when the Walt Disney Company spoke out against DeSantis' legislation where he enacted the Parental Rights in Education Act, or otherwise known as the Don't Say Gay Bill. Now, the Don't Say Gay Bill was effectively a piece of legislation that prevented teachers from educating students about gender identity and sexuality. Naturally, with DeSantis being the man-baby that he is, and someone who is incredibly insecure and definitely wears heels on stage, decided to retaliate against Disney with a number of different pieces of legislation, as well as just being very vocal and criticizing the company. All of that said, I am absolutely delighted that Jagger is taking this opportunity, brief as it may be, to get a few jabs into Trump and DeSantis. These clowns, these man-babies as they are, they can't handle this, and you love to see it. These are two men that are so deeply insecure about so many different things that they just simply cannot handle any level of criticism, and God forbid you vocalize that in some sort of public platform or online. Now, despite these two men's constant whining and insecurities, the good news is Trump has been found guilty of all 34 counts against him and is, with a little bit of luck, going to prison sometime soon. Then, of course, there was DeSantis' miserable failure in his run for the presidency in this election, and he failed to do that as well. Now, Jagger of the Rolling Stones, if you are unaware, has had a number of different things to say about Donald Trump, none of them too pleasant. This is not the first time that Jagger has taken a few seconds out of his concert to have a little fun at the former president's expense. Now, in an article according to Newsweek, Jagger was actually introducing the band's first song, Sweet Virginia, and was having a little bit of a chat with the audience when he took the opportunity to poke fun at the president, saying that they wanted to play the song Wild Horses, but they just needed 11,000 more votes in order to be able to play it. Jagger went on to say that there was an even more important vote coming up this November, a message that we absolutely agree with and have been trying to hammer home if you haven't noticed. Now, to briefly remind you, the former president, Donald Trump, made a call on January 2nd of 2021 to the Georgian Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. During this call, Trump asked Raffensperger to find 11,780 votes in his district in order to help swing the state of Georgia to Donald Trump instead of President Biden. In other words, Donald Trump attempted to steal the election and overturn a fair and honest election. This, of course, should not really surprise anyone, as Donald Trump is a failure and a loser in so many different areas. Trump has been failing at a number of different things for some time now. Let's not forget the Trump Stakes era or the Trump University era either. It only makes sense that he would fail as a president and a traitor, too. It would simply seem that failure runs in Donald Trump's blood. But I digress. Perhaps it's best if these two men, if these two failures, if you will, stay in their lane and maybe shut the hell up, as there is a lot left to criticize, and please, give us all an excuse.